I guess instead of saying what were the lessons learned, what are lessons that today we should still be taking away from the Vietnam War?
Well, I mean, initially, I feel like there were, remember the Weinberger or Powell doctrine. It came in after Vietnam, where, Cap Weinberger, Reagan's defense secretary, Colin Powell, chairman of the Joint Chiefs, where they say, okay, no more Vietnams. The war has to be about a vital national interest. We have to deploy sufficient force to win, and we have to have a viable exit strategy, right? And that kind of prevails. That's the secret sauce behind the Persian Gulf War of 1990. And then if you think about the debates after that, I mean, during that, when we whooped Saddam's ass on the the Kuwait-Iraq border, and some of the hawks are like, we need to go on, we need to go to Baghdad, and we need to like rub Saddam's face in it and show him that he lost. And then you have Dick Cheney of all people, Secretary of Defense, is saying no, and Colin Powell, is saying no, that'll get us into a tar pit. It'll be like America's Lebanon. It's going to be a failed state, and we're going to have to hold the bag and kind of rehabilitate it, right? These are the same guys that will take us into that exact fate in 2003, right? But they had learned the lesson of Vietnam, and there was something about the hubris of this revolution in military affairs. This fact, the collapse of the Soviet Union, America emerging as the only superpower in the world with kind of unlimited ability to do whatever the hell it wanted, right? Mm-hmm. That made us think that no, not only can we do what we want, but we have modernized our military to such an extent with precision munitions that didn't exist in the Vietnam War, and with all these standoff capabilities and ability to basically leverage small forces with great effects. We can knock over regimes now, and then kind of parachute in the exiles to take over and run it in our interest, right? So there was that hubris that developed. But in 1990, we still had learned the lessons of Vietnam, and then we lose them in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I feel like we've learned them again. I mean, Donald Trump's, he's a guy that says, no more Iraqs or Afghanistans.
Yeah. And the way
and he talks about how
Ukraine.
Vietnam was like, the reason I didn't want to go to Vietnam was it was a stupid war. You know what I mean? So it's like, so you feel like he learned the lesson, right? But I think what my book shows is that there's this too easy resort to military force in American politics. People politically too easily say we need to go in there and win this thing, or we need to punish that group, or we need to support the troops with more funding and we need to take on this mission to assert our superpower status and that sort of thing. And I heard this really interesting stat the other day that Xi Jinping's Belt Road Initiative, this hugely ambitious project of building roads and railways and airports and ports all over the world, has cost 1/10 of the cost of our war in Afghanistan. And look at the effects. I mean, he's got political control of most of sub-Saharan Africa because of Belt Road. He's got control of most of Southeast Asia because of Belt Road. What do we have for 10 times as much expenditure in Afghanistan? Nothing. Mm-hmm. It's a net negative, actually. When you think about all of our inflationary pressures, all of our national debt pressures, a lot of it stems from these stupid wars that cost so much money, right? So, that too easy resort to armed force leads us into these kind of hugely expensive quagmires. I do think that America has, it's been reminded of the Vietnam lesson by Iraq and Afghanistan, and I imagine that lesson will hold for a while.
Let's hope so.
Because hopefully forever.
Yeah, I hope we don't have to learn it again. Because again, it's crazy how much history in itself rhymes.